I'm not trying to tear this movie down. I'm not trying to rip it a new asshole, you know, like it's just not interesting. It's not worth talking about. Today I'm going to be talking about Bird Box, the new Netflix movie. I had no idea what it was about. I managed to stay away from any kind of spoilers or even plot points. I just knew that Sandra Bullock was in it. I love Sandra Bullock. People are saying all over social media how suspenseful this movie is and how it gives them anxiety and makes them feel like they're on the edge of their seat. I just didn't see that. I didn't experience that. I thought it would be more suspenseful. And it's not that it doesn't have any suspense, it's a thriller. It's not a horror movie, it's a thriller. I saw it put under the horror movie label a few times. People are putting it in the horror genre, the horror thriller genre. In order to be a horror movie, I think you need more death, more like a scary monster, like an actual scary monster. Even if you never see it, like it needs to be just scarier. This monster just wasn't that scary. They did it with the voices kind of calling their names, maybe of like people that have died. More of that creepy haunting feeling would have made it more like a horror. This plot doesn't actually really lend itself to horror. I don't think apocalypse movies are very like good for the horror genre. The only way for me for it to be a true horror movie and an apocalypse type movie is to be like zombies or like monsters or aliens. But sometimes aliens doesn't even really. It's just too sci-fi. That's just, but to me, I'm not scared of aliens. So maybe to other people, that's horror, but not me. This is the kind of movie that has been done before, and if you're going to do it again, that's fine. There are tons of movies and tons of genres that get made over and over again with the same kind of plots. That's okay to do, but you have to bring something new to the table. It felt like somebody watched The Happening and was like, I could do that better. Like halfway through the movie, I was thinking, this is so much like The Happening mixed with A Quiet Place. And I don't feel like I should be able to do that with a movie. I like to see things that are original. I can talk about A Quiet Place, which I already did a review for, but my husband lost it. I have like a whole bunch of opinions on it. Maybe I'll do another review that doesn't get lost. This movie is a lot like it. One of the things that A Quiet Place does do really well is suspense. They just created a scarier world, a world that was harder to navigate without making noise. They went into all of the things that they did to be careful not to make noise, even including eating on leaves rather than plates. They just really went into detail about how to live like this so that you don't die. And I feel like Bird Box just sort of like barrels its way through. There was no time spent understanding what it would be like for you to live like this, which is what, for me, creates that suspense and creates that anxiety. What would you do in this situation? You understand it a little bit more. Bird Box just sort of failed to set up that world for me. It's also based off of a novel. I don't know how much like that novel it is. If maybe the novel didn't go into or did go into more of the things that they did to keep themselves from seeing things, but still be able to get around. A little bit more of that world building would have been nice. Their day-to-day lives, what's that like? So that when something scary does happen, it affects you a little bit more. Just watching people live their lives and then having to deal with a problem when it suddenly arises is more suspenseful than just always having a problem. It was constant. Problems, 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 problems through this entire movie. And I lost its suspense because they never stopped, because it was just barreling through the plot. I mean, 28 Days Later, if you want to talk about anxiety-inducing horror movies, there you go. It has a similar kind of thing. It's a road movie. They're trying to get somewhere. They're trying to get to safety. They're trying to get away from these monsters. Death is just around the corner everywhere they go. They're constantly running. They're constantly scared. Things seem safe when they're not. They have a feeling, a wonderful sense of safety. A few times that gets ripped away from them like really quickly. Sometimes they end up in places worse than being outside with the zombies. The similarities that I sort of drew between this and the Cloverfield franchise is that there's this sort of like monster that we never see really, and we don't really know what's going on. 10 Cloverfield Lane, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's happening for the majority of the movie, but it's still, all of those movies still do kind of wrap themselves up. It's aliens. They give you an answer. This doesn't give you an answer. We have no idea who these creatures are, which is like, it's okay. It's just not for me. I'm totally okay with this movie not being based around what the creatures are or what is happening, and more being an emotion-based film and more being about how it makes the audience feel and what the characters are going through. But I just don't feel like they did that well. Again, it goes back to the lack of world building, the lack of what their everyday life looks like. It went problem to problem to problem to problem to problem. You didn't get to like mellow in their sense of safety whenever they got it. Again, going back to 28 Days Later, you get to watch them have like a really great time in a supermarket. You get to watch them calm down after a night and have a drink together. There's no stopping, there's no calmness, there's no stillness. There's no nice conversations. There's like one good monologue by Tom, the romantic interest in the movie. He talks about walking a man and who was walking his kids to school every day to make sure that he got there safe, and how when he comes home, he likes to think about he's still doing that. It was a nice moment of just watching this guy recall a memory and just be normal for a little while and connect with another character. I don't think that this is an exceptional movie or a noteworthy movie. It's been way overblown as far as how good it is or how much I've been hearing about it. But I also don't think that it's terrible. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just not notable. So I am giving Bird Box a 5 out of 10. No higher, no lower. I feel like this movie is just really down the middle. It's not bad. Go ahead and watch it if you really want to. I'm not going to try and tell you not to watch the movie, but it's not great. It's not anything. I won't watch it again, and I won't recommend it to people. If there are things that I missed, or connections that I missed, or things that you think I misunderstood, let me know in the comments. People really seem to enjoy this movie, so let me know why. Not only The Birds, the Alfred Hitchcock movie, not Alfred Hitchcock, Alfred Hitchcock, Rachel. Who is Alfred?